Well, hi! And thanks for tracking me down. I know we've been, exchanging emails and we keep missing each other, or I keep screwing up and losing your email. But I finally got it. And I see you want to start a esthetician business, if I pronounce that right, or esthetician. But you just got your certification or license or whatever it is. And that's terrific, particularly starting a new career. I mean, that's, boy, nothing better than that. I mean, no matter how old you are, 40 years old or something like that, you got a long life ahead of you. You could start 5 more careers. So the best thing to do is, I think, what you're doing is taking something you think you really like and now try to figure out how to make money at it because you like it so much. And that's, the more difficult part in life. Because the world keeps changing out there and there's different ways of doing things all the time. And most of us don't have money to do it perfectly. Now I see what you did. You put on a crowdfunding site and I saw that, and it was a nice, attractive site. Excuse me, I got something in my throat here. An attractive site where you're raising $300,000. And I don't know what really works. I mean, nobody does. And that's the fun part of life. We keep guessing. And that's why, to me, I think we should follow our own heart more. But, I mean, from what you showed me so far on the site, besides of its attractiveness, $300,000, I've interviewed about 700 people who have used crowdfunding to start businesses. And it has to be, pretty exciting. And what you have there is certainly pleasant, but $300,000, and it's hard to get that message across. Now then, what you say is going to large corporations for it, and that's a good plan too. But now to do that, you will need a package. You'll need financial statements. You'll need market studies and everything like that. Now, the Small Business Development Center, I think that's where you said you started. They could help you with that, but I still feel a lot of times they're old school also. And there's 100 different ways of getting to the finish line. And that's why, to me, if you think about the finish line as being in business, and to me, the sooner you're in business, the more you're going to learn. Like doing something big, raising $300,000, that could take a year or two, okay? And then if you're lucky, and you still don't have a customer, and so you still don't really know what to do. And that's why I think sometimes it's better to start very small, start getting customers to learn this stuff. So your idea is you want your own spa and done the way you want to do it and things like that. So there's 2 ways to do that. You either, maybe the 3, marry rich, rob a bank, or find some fat cat. Now, big companies is one way. I think venture capitalists is another. In where you are in Cleveland area, I mean, there's a lot of fat cats with money. They are all over looking to invest. And this may appeal to somebody, but you have to package it very sexy-wise, kinds of things, and with financial statements and things like that. And you'll need to get help to do that, I assume. I mean, I don't know. But just looking at the crowdfunding site, because there's not a lot of market information there. There's not a lot of cost structure. You're going to raise $300,000, but it doesn't say what you're going to do, how you're going to spend it. Somebody give you money, they want to know how you're going to spend it. Do you know how to spend it? So that's why you need all these kind of backup stuff, which is really a guess anyway, but people give out money usually like to see that. And sure, there's anomalies and you could do it other ways. But let me go through an idea with you that may be a possibility. See, the way I look at things is, what I said earlier, you have to find out if there's a market or learn the market. Get customers. Customers will tell you what to do. Like you sitting there and doing your plan, your idea for a spa, and then you're going to open it and people come in, oh, it's the wrong color. It's, the 50 things maybe you didn't know because you didn't have any customers. So is there a way you could start getting customers? Now, most of it, I think, I don't know your business, it's a trade of some kind. In other words, is there a way you can be a consultant in an existing spa to start getting customers and feedback. Maybe you're doing this already and I don't know, because that's what you want to do, is start getting feedback from clients or whatever to build a reputation where you are. You're going to do it nice or whatever, and you talk to people what they really want, what's missing, where they are now, where they're going now, things like that. So that kind of idea. The other thing is a step up from that, working for somebody else, is find something that, that attracts women, maybe like a health club or something like that, that people are coming to, and you could be part of that. In other words, they're not offering, not like a beautician, a beauty shop where you're another chair in a beauty shop, but in a healthcare, you're doing this work and you're the only one there. Yeah. So now you don't have to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about So you could go and do skin conditioning, men and women, in a health spa. So that way you eliminate all of the nonsense of getting a place, doing it, up the way you think is ideal. It's sort of like, how do you put aside the ideal and get to where it's the fastest way to get income and feedback to grow it the way it should be, the ideal. In other words, so many times, at least my businesses, when I start out, I have an idea and I get it and everything, and then really in 6 months it's so different because I did it in my head, not with customers and real people and stuff like that. And then plus these other ways are less. I don't know what it would cost. It sounds like it would cost a fraction if you had a small room in a health spa. And maybe they would even finance that, something like that, to do with that. Or if there's maybe $5,000 worth of equipment for something like that, it may be easier to get a loan, even a micro loan for something like that. In your area where you are, there's a lot of microloan organizations that help women entrepreneurs, and I looked a little bit in Cleveland now, and there are, when you put in women entrepreneurs, you get a lot of .coms. Be careful with .coms; they're going to get money from you. There's enough help out there that you don't need to give money to learn what you need to learn. So don't give money when you can get it for free. So if in an existing place, to me, would be an interesting start, and maybe they could even, you could go 50-50 with the people. I'll do it all, because if you build a clientele and know how to do the stuff, and maybe if they even finance the small single room for you to do this kind of work, wow, maybe that's it, and it's just something extra they have to sell. So health clubs is growing. I looked at your business, Department of Labor, in the next 20 years or 10 years or so. That's going to be growing above average. So that's a growth industry too. Now, the other thing that comes to my mind is there's always, delivering services on demand. On demand is, we have Uber, we have all these kinds of things. We have people delivering meals, people delivering, even haircuts now. I mean, I was talking to a fellow in Europe who wants to do beauty salons, and I looked around here in the country. What they're doing is an app with beauty salon. Hey, I want to get a haircut now. Just go app, somebody's around and close by, and 30 minutes they're here, and they're giving me a haircut. Yeah. So maybe there's an opportunity there. Is to have an app, that goes out and gives facials. And that's really interesting to me, because as a friend of mine who was in the Buddhist community for many, many, many years, and running meditation clinics and everything, and now she's into, she left that community and looking to do her skills. Well, she's doing meditation they're opening shops. They're not yoga studios, now they're meditation studios, that people have, are starting them. There's 2 in Washington here, and there's one even opening up across from the White House where they have a nap. You could take a nap, a power nap, they call it, plus meditation. So you seem to be in that genre of things that are going on in the world, and so it's sort of a new and exciting thing that's going on. And that's why, to me, is how do you hustle without having to hustle $300,000. So what's the cheapest you need to maybe get in a car and do it for somebody? So just think, if you say busy executives, downtown, I could come to your office, we just get in your chair, and I give you a facial for 30 minutes. I have no idea how long these things are or whatever. So what equipment do you need there? Is that $1,000? Is that what? Now you're an exciting thing happening, that I would even change here's what I would do, even on your crowdfunding campaign, because it's a way to get customers. Say, hey, and do a video of you. I mean, you said you didn't want to use Facebook or something, so maybe there's something, uncomfortable with that. But hey, be part of this. And so you advertise your crowdfunding to the community there in Cleveland that may use this. Say, hey, kick in $100 or whatever. And you'll be the first customer, so I could buy $5,000 worth of equipment and get to you, and the first 100 customers gets 2 or whatever, something like that. So you have a low level, you have a way to excite potential customers, so you're advertising for business before you're in business to see if there is a business, and then you create a business with no overhead that you have to worry about. Just think, if you get $300,000, shit, you got to spend all that. I mean, it's easy, but you have to account to it for somebody, and that's the pressure. Or if it's part of its loan, then that's the pressure. I mean, you got so many headaches, and if you just want to deal with people and give them satisfaction with your skills, you'll be spending 99% of your time dealing with idiots that give you money because they want to profit tomorrow. They want to do this. They want to go public. They want to, and it's a whole new world and a ball game. That's why I can't understand venture capital people. They invest for different reasons than what you're doing it for. So, the conflict of motives there. I'll send you some emails about crowdfunding a little more. And maybe I'll send you that link that I found. There's a nice nonprofit, looks like, in Cleveland, maybe to start with, to help you think through something like this. So I hope that's of some value to you. But again, there's always more than one way to get there. And that's why we think of the ideal way first, but then, wow, think of it, and it's not really practical. It's getting feedback faster. That's the important thing we need, because that tells us where we really should be going. And then see, when you get those people, if 100 people will give you $100 a piece or something like that, that's $10,000. Then doing them, you'll understand more that what this thing should be. Maybe you should have a bowling alley in it too, or something. Who the hell knows what people want? Or a nap center, or all this kind of stuff. It's really, we need feedback all the time to really know what's available or what we should do. And experts, even like me, can't tell. Nobody can tell. Only you could tell when you do it. That's why it's doing it, not talking about doing it. And not talking people who give you money because they're not your customers. It's the customers. How do you get as close to the customers as fast as possible for you to give them money to do this kind of thing? Because that's what business is all about, is pleasing customers.